A jump to conclusions, Matt. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Guys, we're doing another Essential Factions video. No. Fashion Essentials? Essential Factions? He said... I don't even know, guys. I legitimately don't remember what the name of this series is. So we've got that going for us. Jeez. So it's an E word and an F word. Not that F word. Don't worry. This is a family-friendly channel, both of which are actually also F words. So this channel has lots of F words, none of which are super awful or abrasive or scary. I don't know what you find scary, but I do know that this channel could totally just be sponsored by the letter F, and it wouldn't even be dangerous. Like this video brought to you by the letter F. Okay, that was super dumb. Oh. Okay, guys. I don't even know why I'm even keeping this, but we're going to keep it. We're going to talk about Sith Empire. Guys, they are such an interesting faction in the game right now. You're generally going to want them on defense. I know that that's not flashy or glamorous, but you can really use them to bait other teams, depending on what you want to do. This is going to be a really difficult video to keep short because of how many different factors that are going into it. But we're going to talk about the different characters, which characters are essential to the faction. We're going to talk a little bit about modding and about different abilities that are there and the different modding strategies and team comps. This team is super complex, even for only 6 characters. I say 6 because Sith Assassin, I know that some eccentric people want to use Sith Assassin, and all I have to say is if you want to learn how to use Sith Assassin, she is not essential. She has a decent ship for 1 comp to beat Malevolence, and otherwise you should just not bother, because yes, she can be relevant, yes, she can do some stuff, but man, it takes a lot of really good mods, or it takes like Relic 7 to do stuff. So you want to go learn how to use her, find someone else. She sucks. Not sucks, but she's not great. So first, let's talk about HK, folks. We want to talk about his Zetas first. He's got 2 Zetas. People ask me if you should apply them. I would just say this one, he does extra damage if someone has Death Mark or Fear. You're around Fear quite a bit on this Darth Revan team. I think if you use HK quite a bit, this is worth it. A lot of people love to hate on his Zetas, frankly, and I understand why. That plus 25% only in the condition that it's hitting someone who's Death Marked or Feared. Like Death Mark, it doesn't matter. Like you don't need the extra damage, really. Fear, it can be a target of opportunity, and that extra 25% damage can be good. If you use HK quite a bit, I would recommend it. Otherwise, you can leave it at home. This one is specific to Darth Revan only. People with protection up can't gain bonus turn meter. This is relevant against Jedi teams because this team kind of supplanted the Jedi teams back in the day for meta dominance, and the Revan teams had a lot of protection up. You face a team with HK, you put protection up and you slow down, and Darth Revan kills you. So there's that. Now Troopers team, if you're facing an opponent who's pretty dumb and uses their ranged troopers special, he'll give all the protection up to the full troopers team, and it'll slow the troopers team down and they will die. So this one is more relevant. Sometimes, even if you're facing a non-dumb opponent, sometimes they will accidentally just fat finger that special, because who doesn't want to hit that button, because you gain all these buffs, all this cool stuff. So it's worth the Zeta sometimes if you want fat fingers, want your opponent to fat finger. I don't know. Both of them are pretty luxury at this point. I don't think they're terrible. They're not as bad as people say. His modding can just be general offense or crit damage, whatever you can spare. Nothing too fancy. Really, he does want relic levels. If you're going to use him that much, go more than 3 relic levels, in my opinion. Unless you're a pretty low level account, then 3 is pretty good. I haven't relicked him for years, so I don't even know if relics have been out for years. Probably. So let's talk about Sith Marauder next. He's the guy, in my opinion, he's the fourth, like, kind of unofficial character, the part of the trio. Like, he's not essential to the team, but he's pretty good. So you want offense sets on him, crit damage, or crit chance if you can, a crit damage triangle, and then offense all over the place, including the arrow. He doesn't need a lot of speed, honestly, just lots of offense. The protection here is not great. In fact, like if I could just swap it with a health, with a 6E health, that would be better, because I'll show you his kit. So he does damage with these two. Yay, hooray, like he gives protection up, or potency up, which is kind of fancy. But the other part of it is, so he's an interesting character in the sense that he gains a ton of buffs based on the different buffs that are out there on different characters and debuffs that are on characters. So Darth Revan hands out this thing called Ferocity every time he uses a special move, and he gives 5 stacks of Ferocity. So that's 5 debuff stacks, 5 stacks of debuffs to each character that's Sith Empire on the team. And so what happens is, if Darth Revan goes first, he's going to hand out the Ferocity stacks to his full team. The whole team gets 25 stacks, and that means 25 debuffs. So he's gaining plus 2% crit chance per debuff. So that's a 50% extra crit chance, 50% extra offense, and extra potency. Potency doesn't matter as much, but that offense, 50% offense for 5 stacks each, and if there's 10 stacks each, it can get to some pretty obscene numbers. The other thing, guys, to remember is Sith Marauder gains a ton of bonus turn meter when someone does something outside of their regular turn order. So if, say, someone counters, that's 20% turn meter for him. If someone assists, that's 20% turn meter. So he's going to take a lot of turns. That's why he doesn't need a ton of speed. The other thing that's kind of cool about him is, depending on the team that you're facing, he is going to be impossible to debuff, and he's going to be extremely tanky, because, like, if I'm using bounty hunters to counter a Darth Revan team, I'm going to have, like, I don't know, 7 buffs on any given bounty hunter, and those 7 buffs on every bounty hunter, that's 35 total buffs. That's plus 350% defense, plus 350% health steal, and 350% tenacity. The health steal is why you want to maximize his health, because he becomes really tanky. He's hard to kill, and then when he does hit, he's gaining all these extra turns because people are shooting out of turn order, and so he's going to take extra turns, he's going to hit him back, and then he's going to have a crazy health steal. He becomes extremely difficult to shift. Like, he is a menace. He's a very strong character, actually. Ignore him at your own peril. Now, he also has a ship that's extremely perilous for people as well. So, very good character. Really simple kit, but really cool stuff. So, Dark Basti, you want her Zeta, frankly. I know that it's been cool to hate on it in the past. It gives her plus 50% potency, which, in my opinion, that just buys it for you. And then you also gain Foresight. Now, one thing to remember, if you're using her to counter a General Grievous team, it can get a little dicey if you're not the fastest, because what'll happen is, like, someone will go, and, like, if B1 goes and tries to shoot, he's going to miss against the Foresight, and B2 can then immediately get a turn, and everything can go to hell. It's like a 50-50 chance for you to just lose immediately. So it doesn't matter if your whole team is faster, but if Watt is there, Watt will give you a 50-50 chance, because what'll happen is Watt will go, he will take a turn, and if he's targeting, so he'll give a buff to someone. If he's targeting her or Darth Revan, they'll have that Foresight up. B1 will assist Watt, and if he misses, then it'll potentially, like I said, 50-50 chance, trigger B2. If it triggers B2, he's going to do his AoE. That's going to give turn meter to the whole droid team, and you're going to get pounded into the dust if you're using like a Traya comp that can't handle that damage. So just keep that in mind. The Foresight can be detrimental in that one specific situation. I don't personally use that anymore, but like, if you don't have the Foresight, if you don't have this Zeta, then that just can't happen, and you'll just dominate. But Watt is needed for teams other than General Grievous these days. You need Watt elsewhere. So if someone's putting Watt on their Grievous team, you need to just chuckle in derision, because they're probably they're probably the same guy who uses the special on Range Trooper when he's trying to use troopers to counter your Darth Revan team with HK on it. So, anyways, that's good enough. The potency is amazing though, guys. 50%. I would totally apply a Zeta to a lot of different characters who relied so heavily on debuffs in the game. If I could just like boost their potency all on its own, that's wonderful. It also is annoying for people who want to use Darth Vader to counter this team, and if you have really slow mods on it, they have to start using like Tarkin to try to counter you, and it's count just to get rid of the foresight. And when Tarkin is your lead, then you know, like, Vader's not going to be hitting as hard. It can turn into a huge fiasco, and really, it's a huge mess. Every time I see someone use Tarkin lead against this team, it's like a 52 banner affair. It's a huge, ridiculous mess. So otherwise, she has two different things she wants when she's modding, when you're modding her. So if she's with Darth Revan, then you want to give her a lot of health. So because if Darth Revan is the leader, then both her and Darth Revan gain 70% max health. So that just makes her harder to snipe, right? So she's got Foresight. If Han and Chewie show up with CLS, then Han's going to shoot his shot first, then Chewie's going to assist and miss because of the Foresight, and then Chupio's going to assist and he will hit, and then Han will hit the third time as well. So they'll all hit 3 times, then, Sith Marauder will probably take a turn and things will start getting messy. But until then, you need to survive. So health on everything, guys, everything, including if you can afford the speed, put it on get an arrow on her. Use speed sets generally, but then for the offset, use health for sure. It's vital that she has that. And so you got the health, she gets another 70%. That's going to be like really ugly approximation. That's going to be another, 60k health at least. So we're going to say like 150k, 150,000 health. Maybe you can boost the protection a little bit, right around 200,000 health and protection combined. It's not bad at all. So if you're not going to take her with Darth Revan, which some comps you don't want to take her with him, and if you haven't unlocked him, then she's out on her own. She needs potency. Give her that Zeta if you want. If you're going to use her against a lot of Grievous comps, maybe think about it twice, but then put a lot of potency on her. Speed and potency. Her whole kit is based on debuffing people. Everything she does is a vital debuff. She ability blocks, she fears, she staggers, she does lightning, everything, single thing. And the corrupted battle meditation, she is one of the best support characters in the game. Watt is probably slightly better, but I would not cry at all if someone just gave me the opportunity to have a second one. I would gear her instantly. She is so good. So totally, pay attention to what team she's on. If she's not with Darth Revan, though, potency. If she is with Darth Revan, health. Darth Malak, you want tenacity on him, and you want crit avoid arrow if you can. Lots of protection primaries here, and don't do like I do. My tenacity is pretty bad on this guy right now. Because I'm transitioning. You can see I have protection on him instead of a tenacity cross. The only reason you don't want to do tenacity, because you want all these, you don't want people to land a ton of debuffs on you, and it can turn into a pretty big mess down the line if someone kills your Darth Revan team but can't kill your Malak. Like, they can't stun you, they can't debuff you because you have such high tenacity. It can be a big mess. And then if they can't crit you, which goes along with his whatever it's called, dark matter or whatever it is with the drain life, dark infusion, it just makes him tougher to kill, I think. Let's see, now I have to remember what that does, but one way or another, guys, is it Jaws of Life that gives him, so he gains 35% crit avoid while he has all these different things. Maybe I'm just mixing things up. Anyways, he does want to, just make him a tank. Make it so that he can't have a ton of debuffs on him. If he goes with Rey, which we don't see that too often, he can be very difficult if you can't land any debuffs on him to kill him. If Darth Vader can't land any debuffs on him initially, that can be rough. etc. So lots of tenacity, lots of crit avoid, especially that crit avoid, guys. If Darth Vader's trying to throw a saber at Malak and can't crit, then it's game over. It's just game over. So yeah, it definitely worth putting crit avoid and tenacity on him. There's only sometimes you can put speed on him to make him 1 speed faster than Darth Revan or Basti, just to foil the Darth Vader counter. If you want to do that, then obviously speed sets and then just kind of ignore tenacity, because if you don't want to max it out, like you want him to be like at 180 to 200 tenacity, if you can't get that high, then don't bother with the tenacity. It's not worth it, because Darth Revan has his ferocity stacks, and those stacks really do damage to the tenacity on Malak. So Malak is minus 75% tenacity immediately once Darth Revan uses his lightning ability. So all the stacks of ferocity, pretty rough. 5 stacks of ferocity for using this. The insanity thing, does that give ferocity? Gosh, now I'm just totally spacing it. But the thing is, guys, Darth Revan is going to be handing out all these stacks of ferocity, and Malak needs to be able to still avoid those debuffs. So pretty good stuff. We put all 3 Zetas on him, and we're not even going to talk about how good they are. They are very good. His modding, you don't have to worry as much about health, though I think I've been a little bit foolish with how my health distribution has been. You can see I have protection here in favor of a speed of plus 25 speed. I probably could find a health one if I really looked hard. A health set with health. I don't know. But the speed, guys, is very important. If you want him to be, you probably want him to be right around 330-ish speed, just to avoid, so Vader's still going to counter it, but then you're not using an egregious, awesome mod set to boost his speed, and then Vader doesn't care how fast Darth Revan is, because you're always going to outspeed. Darth Revan will always outspeed him. So you want him right around 330, so some decent mods for sure, but nothing too crazy. You can see crit chance is pretty bogus. Potency is also not that great. He likes to land debuffs, but he's also gaining a lot from his stacks of ferocity, etc. So I don't think potency is absolutely necessary on him. And then speed, you can really boost his damage quite a bit too. He's a very strong character in general. I think that the health thing, here's the issue, guys. So if I max out his health, that's great. But then he also has the ability to, if you're putting all the Zetas on and all the Omegas, then he can shift a lot of that damage to other people when he's taking it, and he can also, he has foresight at the start, and then he also disallows people from assisting and countering against him, and so, they can counter, they just can't assist, and so he has his own kind of built-in protections that make it very difficult to kill him right away, and so the health is way more important on Basti. And honestly, this isn't too bad, an extra 70% on top of this almost 60k health. I should, that's not me making an excuse, I should have more health on him. But, that's Darth Revan. And then Sith Empire Trooper. Sith Empire Trooper is a really good plug-and-play tank. Probably if you put relics on him, get him higher than 2. I'm out of relic mats. Honestly, it's been rough. So, here's the thing about him. You saw what ferocity did to the tenacity on Malak. It also does minus 15% per stack on defense to characters. So if you have 5 stacks of Sith Empire, of ferocity, Sith Empire Trooper, he has this plus 100% defense. It's additive in the sense that if you have those 5 stacks of tenacity, it's minus 75% on defense, so he only has plus 25% defense. If you have 10 stacks of ferocity on this guy, then he's going to actually have no extra defense. So all the defense is pretty cool, I guess. He has defense up, all these different things, and all I have to say is, if you're with Darth Revan, you can put some defense on him, that's fine, but mostly focus. Don't put defense primaries on the triangle and cross. Do protection. Just do protection. Keep him pretty healthy, or protected, whatever. Stay safe. And Apparently, I have a defense arrow on him. I have no recollection of why I did that at all. But in general, like, defense is good, especially, guys, if you're putting him on a team that, like, he's great with basically any other Sith team. So, like, Traya would love to have him on there. Vader likes to have him as well. That, you know, he's a pre-taunt. He can go with any team. Then max out that protection. I think that probably, or max out the defense as well if you can. Defense sets are pretty nice. They're going to be negated for the most part on a Darth Revan team, but this diamond should probably, you don't need speed. Like, the joke is no one knows what his abilities actually are because he never gets a turn. So just don't put speed on him. People just stun him, stun lock him to death. They reduce his turn meter, etc. He usually just has his basic because he's ability blocked. Though I do suppose that Darth Revan protects him from that ignominy at least. But he's not a naturally fast character anyways. Base speed lower than 140, so really slow. Don't put speed on him. Lots of protection, lots of defense. Get a 6E defense triangle if you can, and otherwise call it good. So he can be an unshiftable, unmovable wall. He's a very good character. So anyways, that's the team. That's the modding for them, and the Zetas. Oh yeah, put both Zetas on Malak. Stop fooling yourself. Don't even look. Just apply them. Blindly trust me, guys. His Zetas are amazing. So as far as team comps go, guys, we'll talk about 3v3 in a minute, but 5v5, there's a lot of different things. So traditionally, it was going to be Darth Revan. If you're going to do a mirror match, if you have the faster Darth Revan and Basti, then you can go on offense and just destroy the other team for like 59 banners. Or even better, if you don't have the faster Darth Revan, then you need to use Sith Empire Trooper to slow them down because he's a pre-taunt. No one ever does the mirror match these days, really. But HK has his own value. The problem being there's no pre-taunt on this team right now. And so what'll happen is people just immediately target Basti, and sometimes her layers of defense are good enough and sometimes they aren't. Having that extra pre-taunt is pretty nice just to make sure, like, and if they do use a Darth Revan team against you, then you're only going to fear him and Darth Revan. So I would say in general, this is the best lineup, but sometimes you want Sith Empire Trooper on a different Sith team. But like I said, Traya really likes him, and Darth Vader really likes him, so you don't necessarily need him there. Keep in mind, you want to keep full Sith Empire when you can, just because Darth Revan hands that extra 50% crit damage from his lead if the entire team is Sith Empire. So, otherwise, guys, another team comp that a lot of people have been using lately, which we're about to get the new division layouts, and we're going to have more teams that we have to deploy and attack with, and this is kind of burning two different teams. So I don't think we're going to see this too often, but it does bear discussion. If Sith Eternal gives Darth Revan an extra 40 speed, so my Darth Revan at a pretty pedestrian 330 is going to end up being at 370, which makes it very difficult to counter. However, if someone is on the ball and uses Moff Gideon on a Troopers team, Moff Gideon can get to some pretty crazy speeds. Like my own Moff Gideon is at 366, not even that fast for some of the crazy Gideons out there. A lot of people are getting him to over 380, or at least close to 380. But with the Veers lead, my Moff Gideon then ends up at, at 386, which is faster than the 370 on this Darth Revan. And therefore, Imperial Troopers would be able to, my Imperial Troopers would be able to just go crazy and kill this whole team immediately. It wouldn't be a challenge. So be cautious with this, because Imperial Troopers can just enter your base, just like they did to Echo Base, and just destroy you. Kill you where you stand. So another thing, if you want to use, if you want to potentially counter a Vader team, you can put Red Trooper here, because what happens is Darth Vader goes and immediately throws his blade and kills Darth Revan. That's the whole strategy. And if he can't do that, if he does do that, then Red Trooper is going to immediately do his AoE and potentially kill your whole team, depending on what relics are and everything. So this is a really good way to shut them down. You get that they're not all Sith Empire troops, so or characters, so they're not getting the extra 50% crit damage. That might be okay. Also, the Red Trooper really wants to be with Supreme Leader Kylo usually, so if you're doing this comp, like, why? I mean, it's fine. It's just, it's targeted specifically at Vader. And I guess bounty hunters could struggle against this too if they were fast enough, like you kill Darth Revan or Basti, and then Red Trooper goes ham. It could be obnoxious. I won't lie that this is an effective team. It's very scary, but you can also counter it. Like if you take Gideon on your Vader team, then you can negate all the damage from Red Trooper and his AoE because of Gideon going first. So there's all these different plays and counterplays. It's pretty intense. This is the team that you use on offense to kill Galactic Legend Rey if there's not a lot of different good tanks on the team, or if there's like Jedi Training Rey isn't on the team. This is the old school first way to do it. Usually you take L3 instead of Sith Empire Trooper, but I'm lazy as hell. Didn't want to click into Smugglers. I just clicked Sith Empire and put this guy in. But you want to pre-taunt. This team can work. The Vader comps are a lot more flexible, in my opinion. But this, like I said, this can work. I've done it before. I've done it a lot of times. It's a no-brainer if it's against the right comp. If it's not, the struggle can be real. So otherwise, one other good defensive comp, or at least decent one, would be Darth Revan with Moff Gideon, because bounty hunters can be a threat to you. And if they're using Jango, for instance, they rely on a lot of offense. And if you have Moff Gideon, he's not only fast enough to go first, and then he'll armor shred, which is kind of worthless. But the idea is the bounty hunter team would need to be faster than Darth Revan for it to work. If Moff Gideon is faster than their team with the Jango lead bonus, then he's going to go. He won't kill any of them, but he'll reduce their offense to the point that they can't kill anyone, especially if you've made Basti the main, the tank that I was advocating before. They're not going to kill anyone with the Jango team, and they'll eventually just wither and die. You just need a character that's fast that can go with them. So lots of different plays and counterplays. Really, it's just who you want to counter and have countered. I mean, if your opponent always uses Darth Vader with Watt to counter your Darth Revan, put them up front, just take your 59 that you gave them like a man, and then grin when in the back you have a Rey team that they can't kill because they have Vader but no Watt. Or they have Sith Eternal, and they have to use a bunch of just random hodgepodge tanks to get through to you in order to win, because, once again, they don't have Watt. They just need armor or something. So, it can cost people points if you out-scheme them. You just got to know what the counters are, and honestly, there are enough now in 5v5, I just can't take the time to list them. Like Troopers can kill this team really easy, but if you put Gideon with them, then if you outspeed the Troopers, then they're not going to use Troopers on you because they can't do enough damage. And but if you put Gideon in there, then maybe they'll use their own Gideon if he's faster. And if they want to use bounty hunters, then it's totally different things. What I would say is, don't make your team super slow. If you make it super slow, it makes it more difficult for Vader to counter, but it makes way more sense, or it makes it way easier for bounty hunters to just run roughshod over you. If you can use an Aura Sing lead bounty hunter team against a Darth Revan team because they're all slow enough, then it's amazing. I've been doing that for 60 banners a lot lately because people have been slowing the team down. I would advise somewhere in the 330s for Darth Revan, somewhere approaching that for Basti, somewhere over 300, and then whatever you want on Malak. That, in my opinion, that's going to be the most cost-effective way. That way it prices out most bounty hunters. It makes it so that you're more reactive to, if they do have really fast, like Jango team, then you can put something in there to stop that Jango team. And otherwise, I mean, this team, you're not going to stop someone from killing it, so you just have to pick your poison. That's essentially it. In 5v5, that's how it is. In 3v3, it's another matter. These three are an immovable object. You need either the mirror match, which can turn south even if you have a faster Darth Revan, and better relics, etc. That is just a lot of RNG. You need that. General Skywalker doesn't work on this team, really, like not consistently at all. You need a Galactic Legend to beat this team. There's not an easy comp. I know that Fatal has a video about using Vader, and it's a higher percentage than it used to be, but people are still failing at extremely high rates using the Vader comp. So there's not an easy way in 3v3. This is like the king of 3v3 in a lot of ways, because Galactic Legends are obviously powerful. There's no other team out there right now that beats this team one-on-one in one shot cleanly. There just isn't, not consistently at all. So keep these three together. Do not split them up. People, I see other streamers, man. I see other content creators say that you want to be efficient, then take Darth Revan with Sith Marauder and someone else, HK. And then you're not even wasting HK, but what ends up happening is the Darth Revan team just gets spanked by some other team. Like, I've seen people use like Mon Mothma teams just to wreck this team. And even if you do win on offense, you're still getting really bad banners because you have no banner recovery. And then you put Palpatine with Malak and Basti. It sounds good. Especially because Basti goes really well with Palp lead and his Zeta and all that for turn meter, but don't be drawn in by that. You can use your Jedi Revan team with like Revan, Basti, or even just like Revan, Jolie, and Grandmaster Yoda for like 53, 54 banners. I've done it a few different times. I've seen a ton of other people do it. Do not split this team up in 3v3. Right now, this team is God mode. It is so good. You can control your opponents really well with it and determine what they're going to take. So, and then if you really want a team with to use the other guys, like Marauder, maybe Marauder doesn't go best with Palp. I don't know. Palp can give him plus 50% offense, though, with his Omega if he does his AoE. That's pretty nice. You can provide that pre-taunt so that Marauder doesn't get killed right away, or Emperor doesn't get killed right away. You could also use Vader lead on the team, because that's going to keep boosting the Marauder's stats, because he's building up his offense as those dots keep sticking. And so lots of different comps. One of my goals for the next 3v3 season is to use Marauder more often. He sat on the bench a lot in the last couple seasons, and honestly, that shouldn't really happen. He is a really good character, even though he's better at 5v5 because there are more buffs and debuffs to be found total. He still hits like a truck and does a lot of good stuff. So anyways, guys, there's a million and a half things I want to say more about this Darth Revan team, the Sith Empire. They're an extremely strong squad. Usually people are going to get great scores against you, but if you can use them as if you can use the right comp to shut down the correct teams that you want to do, and that takes some planning and some finesse, but I always tell people you need a plan. Always have a plan. I always have a plan. Do you? But if you can have a plan and you can bait the right team with them, then good things are going to happen. And sometimes people just straight up fail. Like, don't be like me and neglect your Darth Revan health mods. Like, go right now and remod him for health. Put damage on him or whatever else you want to do. And obviously his speed is essential, but make it so that Darth Vader can fail sometimes. It's kind of nice. Anyways, folks, that's it. I literally could talk another hour about this team. It's super interesting where they're at right now. But come watch me on Twitch. Come watch me on YouTube. Obviously, you're watching me on YouTube right now. But watch my videos. See how I use him. And always on defense, but it's still a very powerful, very important squad. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.